Today's episode is sponsored by Learning Blade. Middle school is the ideal time for career exploration. With Learning Blade, you can easily integrate STEM and career awareness concepts into your classroom. Find out if this resource is free in your state at learningblade.com. Thanks, Learning Blade. Hey, is this thing on? Are we recording? Can I get a tech person? Oh, for the love of ed tech. All right, joining me today is Adeline, Andrew, Max, Rogan, and Taylor, who are all students at Biomed Science Academy. So hey to every one of you.
Hi.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I actually spoke to Mr. Heilman for the podcast. So if our listeners haven't heard that one, Mr. Heilman teaches a technology class at Biomed Science Academy, and these are some of his students. And so I want to know from you guys a little bit about what you like the most about being in Mr. Heilman's class. I think we'll start there.
Yeah, does anyone want to start first?
I'll start.
Yeah, we can just go down the line.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so this is Max, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
The main thing I like in his class is he has a great ability of teaching us and making sure we have time and showing us what we need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the creativity that comes with it. He teaches very slow but concise, and I like that. And if we ever have any struggles, he'll individually help us. It's nice.
Very
Okay.
organized. He's very, very organized, and that can be very helpful when you're working with technology and coding.
I want to go off of what Basil said about how he's organized because I have OCD and I really need that, but it's also the ability to be creative and how he just teaches us why we do certain things, like with organization.
Much to talk about since everyone has already talked, but he just he explains everything very well. Sometimes he explains like too long, but he still explains it so everyone understands it.
Okay, so, and two, does he, I guess, kind of approach teaching the way most of your teachers do, or is it like a different, take? Like, do you guys have to kind of figure things out on your own, or?
Well, with Biomed, we are all hands-on, so all our teachers, they have a ton of different styles of teaching, but Mr. Heilman, he has more of, because he has this technology, experience, he's able to bring all these different perspectives and just teach us with what he's experienced, with all, it's I don't know, it's just this different layer.
Yeah, going off of what Adeline said, I think his teaching is different compared to the other teachers because he's working on so many things at once, and his lessons can be very guided, but at the same time, if you want to learn something, you just bring it up to him and he'll teach it. So we
cool.
We have a lot more choose and say in what we're learning about.
Definitely, yeah.
What I think is that he has a different way of teaching than the other teachers because he does it with you. He'll do it at the same time he teaches us, and we'll kind of just work together. Any problems we have, it'll be easily solved because he's also doing it with us.
A lot of walkthroughs.
Okay, that's really cool. All right, so can you guys tell me about maybe a project that you're currently working on and what each of your roles are in that project?
Well, we don't really have group projects, but I know they do.
Yeah, we have a few people working together, and then we have a few people working on just individual things. So then if we want to go down the line and talk about like what we're working on.
So I've worked on this game called a rolling ball game, and it's what everybody else has worked on. And it's really just teaching us how to use Unreal Engine and how to use technology such as that. And we're allowed to add extra stuff. And what I did, I added a jump, a dash, and just different codes with it.
That's cool. So is your game strictly, like, are you doing the coding and, like, the graphic pieces of it?
So what we do is we don't really make our own graphics right now. If you want,
Okay.
you can with like Photoshop or whatever, but we do our own coding.
Ah, okay. Cool.
I personally don't have a specific game right now. I'm just going through a ton of different stuff, especially because I like the arts and it's a bit hard with what we're doing. But I just have an overall sandbox. I mess with the sound and the coding and the graphics. I even like working on like a different software to help with music and different production with that. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Which is cool.
So one of the things that I've been working on is I am hired by this YouTuber right now, and I'm working on an isopod game with her. And me and Andrew are also working. We were working together for a 2D game, but I split off of that to go work on the isopod game.
Can you tell me what isopod game is?
It's basically a game where you're a little isopod and you have to like traverse through. We don't really have the entire game built so far, just the core mechanics.
Okay.
Speaking of the Unreal Engine project, the name for it, we have, so pretty much it's just me working on it now, but for the main part of it, we both worked on it at the same time. It's a 2D Metrovania. It has a few different abilities, and it's a full-on 2D game, so not anything like the 3D, which is not meant for Unreal Engine, more for Unity, but for Unreal Engine, now it's just me really working on it, but mainly just map building, that's what I do.
With my game, I am doing like a personal project. I'm more so just doing it for the class because my skill really lies in creating textures and 3D models and sometimes soundtracks for games. So
Cool.
I do that for other kids sometimes.
Oh, cool. So I am curious, like, does the class allow you to do things like that? Like, where if I came to you and said, hey, I don't know how to do the sound for this, can you come in and do that? Or, I mean, do you guys cross like that a lot?
So not a lot of the time, but like you need help on something, you can ask around. You just have to use your own time for that instead of working on it during class. We do get time during class after assignments and being taught what we're here to learn. But yeah, we can cross over a lot of the time.
We also have a study hall that we call Win Time, and it's mainly just work that we need to do or work that we want to do. And a lot of kids work in that tech class at that time to work on different things.
Oh, nice.
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm guessing what you were asking is if other students can provide for other students, like say someone wants to make a 3D model for a different student's game. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, skills, like crossing skills. Like, say I'm good at coding, but I have no idea how to, like, draw what I'm envisioning.
Well, yeah, for example, that's what they did. If Mr. Heilman agrees with you and thinks he's pretty optimistic and he thinks you can do this if you're determined. So he'll usually say yes if you want to.
Yeah,
Cool.
Crossover. I am absolutely terrible at anything that has to do with world building, like design and anything like that. Except I really love the coding aspect of it. So me and Andrew got together and I did a lot of the coding for the game, and he did
Most of the level design and world building.
That's really cool. And I've heard several of you talk about Unreal Engine. Like, how would you describe that to somebody who's never heard of it?
I would describe Unreal Engine. So it's basically it's mainly an engine for indie game developers because it's really simplistic to use, and you don't really have to go in with a lot of that raw code. You can make a game based off of solely the Unreal Engine blueprints. But if you did want to go deeper into it, you could use the added C++ to make more complex games.
Unreal Engine, for me, is a way to make everything a little more understandable and easier to access for a lot of people, because there are so many people with great talent who just can't get into the industry because they can't afford it, they don't have the time, they don't have the skill. It's a way that everyone can enjoy coding and building something that is their own, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Just really, it really breaks everything down so that it's accessible for everyone.
Yeah, I'd say it's very beginner friendly, but it doesn't stay easy. If you want to go and branch out in the future, if you want to make it more complicated for yourself, you can definitely add all these layers, like what he said, C++. It's very accessible.
So could an old person like me figure this out?
Probably.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Unreal Engine is probably one of the most famous websites to make video games off. Not websites. Software to make video games off. And there's plenty of tutorials to do anything on
Like
there.
a lot.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the big thing with coding is it's all on Google. If you want to do something, it's on Google. 95% of the time you can find what you're looking for on Google.
And that's what Mr. Heilman taught us too, because he'll walk us through the code, yes, but he's also our teacher. He's everyone's teacher, so he can't talk to everyone individually. So he'll let us know, like, oh, you're allowed to look at different tutorials, you're allowed to look on Google. As long as I approve that you want to do this code and stuff, you can just throw it out there, go crazy.
Wow.
Comparing it to Unity, which is all raw code, I know a lot of people start with Unity, but me personally, I'm extremely glad that I started with Unreal Engine because it's just so much more simple compared to Unity. Because Unity, you have to basically learn everything from scratch. There's not nearly as many tutorials for beginners.
Yeah, I've attempted things like Godot before, or Godot, or whatever that's called. But it's a different game design software, and it's newer, so it doesn't have many tutorials. So that's when it was like, oh, I should probably stick to Unreal Engine with what we're doing in class, because this is a bit not hard for me, but a bit confusing. And
Gotcha.
that's why I like Unreal. It's very smooth, and there's a lot of tutorials and explanations for what you're doing.
Anyone with a basic understanding of physics and how things move and work together can use Unreal Engine.
Okay. I was going to say, because I just learned about it through Mr. Heilman, and so I was Googling after our conversation, but I haven't tried it out yet. So, Mr. Heilman obviously came kind of from the gaming industry and decided to become a teacher. So how do you think having a teacher that comes from like that industry experience, how has that influenced your learning, do you think?
I would say it influenced ours a lot because him knowing all of this stuff already just made it probably 3 times easier for us.
Definitely. It almost inspires me a lot too, because if you ever need anything, you can just talk to him and he'll describe all these different like parts of the industry. Like what I said, I like to do a bunch of the arts and stuff, so a lot of the times he can walk you through that and how you can insert all that into the software, because he's had that experience with all these different people and all these different groups. It's just, inspiring.
I'd say mistakes are the way that we learn, and he's made those same mistakes so many times that he can help prevent those mistakes. And mistakes are still made, but they happen a lot less because he has that experience and can tell us, hey, you do this, your code is going to break.
And I want to bounce off of what Basil said. He taught us like how to use GitHub, and you want to use it this certain way because if you upload a change that is the same as another change that someone else made, your entire game will break. And he taught us like not to do that, and how to also like organize your code so that other people can understand it if you're working in a team.
Because of his, I guess, experience and way of teaching, do you think that has changed your thinking about making, I guess we kind of talked about this. Do you think it's changed your thinking in the way games are made? Like, because he's brought that real kind of world experience to everything?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's changed a lot of perspective for a lot of us because the way kids more so kind of gather things is taking them and applying them to situations. So him having all of this experience and then teaching us, it kind of helps us apply to it. And I know a lot of us here want to move into the gaming industry when we are older. So it kind of tells us like what that's going to be like.
I'd say it's changed my perspective on how video games were created a lot, because when I was a lot younger, probably around 4 or 5, I thought that it was all binary code, which is zeros and ones. And then I thought it was all just raw code. And then I finally learned how it's actually made with engines, and you actually get to see what's happening instead of just a string of code on your screen.
Oh, cool. That's a nice little shift. Have all of you always been interested in like coding and technology?
Yeah.
Or-
I remember when I was younger in 2nd grade, this is when that experience kind of started. So I love that Mr. Heilman's classes bring this back. But in 2nd grade, my teacher pulled a few of us to do this little Scratch, which is a different coding software for students and like younger kids, to do these like coding block codes. So that's what really inspired me to get into this like, oh, I think I want to do this story building game design mindset. So I love that Mr. Heilman's bringing that out in a lot of the students.
Me personally, I haven't been a very big fan of tech until early last year when we first started using, or early last school year when we first started using, or when I first started using Scratch. And
Okay.
I just liked editing different stuff and somewhat editing things already made. But this year I like making my own stuff.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, if that's what you want to call it.
Okay.
I have never been a fan of technology stuff. I prefer being hands-on and doing it how it's supposed to be done. I have always been interested in creating art, graphics, and 3D modeling, but nothing past that. I have never really been a big tech person. And I think Mr. Heilman's class really opened my eyes to, yes, I can do it, but it's not something I would take into a career.
Gotcha.
I started in the like coding part of my life. I started a little bit later than most of you guys, which I know you said 2nd grade.
Yeah.
I started probably in 5th grade when I started Scratch, and then 6th grade, once I got a actual laptop, I started learning Python. And from there, it's just advanced. And Mr. Heilman's class has also opened me up to the world of Photoshop, and now I really like doing drawing the sprites for my games.
Oh, cool.
For me, in like 4th and 5th grade is when I started using Scratch a lot. And when I first started using Scratch, I used it a lot, making a bunch of different games in there. Because when I was young, I always wanted to do game design, stuff like that.
Okay.
With Mr. Heilman's class, you got access to Unreal Engine and just to make theaters and just go a lot farther than you could with Scratch.
Very cool. Very cool. I hope that my little kiddos that I used to help with code.org, maybe they're where you are. Maybe they found a love of coding when they were in kindergarten and now they're somewhere cool.
It's definitely, it's really fun to see something you're just kind of throwing together grow into this playable game. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And to like, I don't know, I guess what's kind of cool about the whole process is even though it is like on a screen or tech, it's like you can see like this thing that you created in the end.
Definitely.
It's like, even though you can't hold it, you can like see your hard work. Teachers, you can now earn contact hours toward grad credit for listening to the podcast.
Visit fortheloveofedtech.org for more information.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, and I would like for each of you to answer, and I can give you a minute to think about it, but what skills do you think you've gained from working on the different projects and being involved in the class? And how do you see those skills helping you in the future technically, I mean either not necessarily just in school, but overall, like in the world?
I'll go first if you guys don't care.
Yeah, just go.
Okay.
I've
Max.
gained a lot of engaged learning because I'm watching what I should be doing, and just mainly that and more patience because you have to just take time on these. And sometimes bigger projects, especially in tech, take a while.
Yeah, and they don't always work the first time.
Yeah.
Definitely patience and trusting yourself. It's a big one. I know personally, I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things in this brain, and with what we're learning, it helps me just throw things out there. With still combining this patience and like knowing that I'm gonna make mistakes, but this is like I don't know. I'm just able to see stuff grow, like I said.
Yeah, well, and it's part of the process.
Definitely.
So, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. I think patience. I have a short patience, short temper. With coding, it's a lot of trial and error that I really have to like be patient with. Like I have to try this. Is it gonna work? No, it's not gonna work. So I got to try again. And I think for a lot of us, that can go the same. I also think personal agency. I'm a messy person, a lot of things in my brain. And it really makes me like think, oh, is that named correctly? Oh, do I have that in the right place?
I think it's really helped me with organization because like my code has to be very organized for me especially. And then also it helped me stay more patient because I used to have a really short temper. And now like I've learned like I need to go through with the code because if I just stop here, then it won't work.
No instant gratification. Go ahead. Sorry, Andrew.
Like for everyone else, patience is another thing, and pretty much the biggest thing because like not learning, but like taking the time to actually go through your problems and just sticking with them the entire time until you actually get it correct. Because you're going to fail multiple times till you get what you want.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost you have that determination of like, oh, yeah, this isn't going well, but I really want to see this game be built out or this specific thing I'm doing built out, and that's why it's like, yeah, we're all saying patience, but it really just helps. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like probably being patient with yourself and with others because you.
I know there's some people who might want to give up on their code, but a lot of the time you want to see something, like you want to see a product. So this is inspiring you to just, be patient, do it. You got to do it.
Keep at it.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So I guess too, well, along with patience, it sounds like resiliency too. Like,
definitely.
Keep at it. I've got another question just because I have talked to Mrs. Lang for the podcast too, and I am like extremely fascinated by your school in general. So have you guys always gone to Biomed? Because I know that they just started with like elementary.
I've been going since 3rd grade, and that was right after COVID. So that was hybrid, which meant every other week was online. But I've been I've been here for a bit.
So. I've been here since 3rd grade also, which was the first year our grade was able to get into Biomed.
Yeah, because before they did high school and up, then after COVID, that's when they started like, oh, we should branch out.
Same thing here. I started at 3rd grade.
3rd grade.
I actually started in 4th grade, and that's about it.
Well, you all are veterans because I started halfway through last year.
Okay. Well, then maybe, Taylor, you would be the one to ask. I'm just curious how you think like the approach is different than like a traditional school.
Oh boy. Okay. So before I went here, I went to a school that was out in the Amish country. So we're very traditional. Biomed is so different. The integrations that are put into the learning are definitely what makes it a lot different. Like, when we're learning about a subject, give it ELA, we're not just learning about ELA. We're also integrating in social studies, sometimes a little bit of math. We are learning about so many things at once, and Biomed really gives us a lot of opportunities as well that normal school kids just wouldn't get. This podcast, as an example, if I would have stayed at my old school, I wouldn't be here right now. I have so many friends, and I would not have the opportunity that I have here. Biomed, with the way that it uses STEM to teach and show kids how to do things, not just digitally, but physically, and not just traditionally, but you're really just living in it. And I think a lot of kids not only learn better that way, but it is the real way to teach.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because it sounds like, too, you guys do a lot of doing, which I always am like, that's the way you learn.
I think
doing the stuff.
Yeah, I think Biomed's definitely about opportunities. We're big on problem solving. We even have our own student attributes, which are basically just, they're right up there. A ton of different ways we can problem solve and innovate and just
the things,
learn. Yeah.
The things that our schools stand for. So I don't know if Mr. Heilman or Ms. Lang talked about it, but the 6 student attributes are personal agency, innovation and problem solving, engaged learning, collaboration and leadership, sense of community, and effective communication. And we're taught these things every single day. We have had projects where every class comes together and we do one big group project.
Oh, wow.
So it really teaches everybody a little bit of everything.
And it's great, too, because it might sound confusing at first, but even with new students like Taylor, you're able to learn so quickly and just, it can be confusing at first, but you're able to build off of what they're giving you. Like I said, Biomed's about opportunities. It's about just going out there and problem solving and collaborating and doing all these things, like what Taylor just said about her attributes. It's just a really good way of integration and learning.
It's a lot of real life skills that you're going to use every single day.
Mm-hmm, very hands-on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys seem like you're very lucky, whether you know it or not. Does anybody have any final thoughts, comments?
If you ever want to do game design or just anything in general, look into it. Look at YouTube. Find tutorials and go crazy.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
And I just want to say, in case anyone who's listening to this or watching it, whatever, if you want to get into Unreal Engine, all you have to do is download the Epic Games Launcher, and then in the Epic Games Launcher is Unreal Engine. And if you want to get into Unity after learning that, you can just download Unity off of your browser.
Yeah, it might seem extremely challenging, and it will be at first, but if you're determined and you feel like doing this and you want to make something, make it.
Good advice. I love it. Thank you guys so much for your time. I really do appreciate you joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's a great opportunity.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you found our discussion interesting and insightful. Don't forget to check out the show notes on our website, where you'll find more information about today's guest, resources we mentioned, and information on earning contact hours for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with your network, and check us out at fortheloveofedtech.org. This podcast is produced by SOIDA, the Southwestern Ohio Instructional Technology Association, in partnership with Think TV and CET, the local PBS stations in Dayton and Cincinnati. Until next time, keep exploring new ways to empower your students through tech, and we'll catch you in the next episode.